Both teams are posing with a First Nations flag, the Indigenous flag, and also Torres Strait Island as part of acknowledgement of today. Today's refereeing crew will be led by Casey Rybelt, who is second from the right. Joanna Charactis far right, and Janelle Samet far left are the assistant referees, and Caitlin Williams will be the fourth official. Ante Juric has made another tough call on his New Zealand international Anna Green, dropping her from the matchday squad altogether. Kirsty Fenton is back for the first time since New Year's Eve, when she suffered a knee injury against Brisbane Roar. She had been a regular starter. I wonder what minute Juric will deploy her today. And Gabby Garton, only 32 years old, so coming back from giving birth less than a year ago, it's certainly happened quite a bit in football, and it's been one of the hot button topics of the last 2 weeks. But now we get to see another super mum between the sticks, and of course Garton went to the most recent World Cup with Argentina. So all in readiness then for Big Blue number 27 in the A-League Women's. Sydney FC dominates the head-to-head between the two sides, 14 wins to 6 and 6 draws. Home and away wins are a rarity for the Victory. Can they plant their flag on a spot in the top 4 by winning here today? Certainly, Leah, with all the changes to the teams, many of them forced by injury, it leaves us with plenty of intrigue as to which direction today's game is going to go.
Definitely feel that today's going to be a tight contest, Teo. We know that Sydney FC are coming off a loss to Western United away from home, and this Melbourne Victory will be looking for that 3 points to stay in that top 4.
Alana Murphy on the ball, playing it to Jessica Nash, who spent last season at Sydney FC and might have a point to prove today against the club that benched her and didn't really give her a great deal of game time last summer. Nat Tobin with the clearance away there, marking Rika Madsen, the Danish international, who's trying to get on the end of this throw, and Tobin with a little slip allows Madsen to escape down the right. Victory with numbers in the middle. Madsen cuts back onto the left and then drives it low into the path of Charlotte McLean, who makes the block. And now Deborah Ann Delahaye is trying to escape with the ball and does so successfully to Madison Haley, who scored her first A-League women's goal last time the teams met back in round 2. That was at Cromer Park in Sydney. Kayla Morrison with a header over to Natalie Tatham, hurried into the pass, and Sydney FC retained the ball. Mackenzie Hawkesby, and now Charlie's Rule. That's Ante Juric there shouting, excellent start. And Charlotte McLean, very heavily bandaged, as has been the case all season, bumped off the ball here, playing the pass long towards Courtney Vine, who's buzzing around, trying to cause a problem for Tatham. Now McLean follows up, but a series of ricochets leaves Madsen with a chance to run at the defence. Privatelli wants the pass. Slightly underhit, but it's going to deflect kindly. Back to Madsen, knocks it on almost for Alex Chidiac. And did Nat Tobin leg Chidiac in the box there? The referee saw nothing wrong with it, and play continues.
And they are the spaces that Madsen, as well as Chidiac, are going to be a headache for Sydney FC. We know that their back 4 drop very early, so there's opportunities to pick up the ball in the pocket.
Looks as though Tobin got the ball first there, even though there was a bit of Alex Chidiac as well. Here's Leah Privatelli taking on Delahaye. Tries to back her speed. Delahaye has the angles covered, and it's out for a goal kick. Privatelli protests that it was a corner, and in fact the central referee is going to overrule. Here's another look at this shout here. Leah, anything untoward from Nat Tobin?
No, I think it's a well-timed tackle by Nat Tobin. I can see why they're asking the question whenever a defender goes to ground.
Haley kept the ball at the feet through one challenge, and then back to Hunter. Now out to Abini, who's got a bit of space to work with on the left. Looks up at Nash and resumes the duel that's been taking place. Abini wants to free the feet for a shot, but that is high and wide.
And if Melbourne Victory are going to allow Princess Ibini to come inside in those moments, she actually needs cover by Alana Murphy in terms of her defensive positioning to block that shot.
Madison Haley away from Bunge, and that's going to be the first yellow card of the game. No subtlety whatsoever. Almost a rugby tackle, more akin to the Melbourne Storm rather than the Melbourne Victory, as Bunge grabbed onto Haley there.
Not subtle at all, and Bunge is her own worst enemy in terms of overcommitting in the initial action. Unnecessary, given that her remaining defenders were in good positions to stop Hallie if she was to attack that space.
So how much of that is just instinct when you get turned like that to commit a professional foul, and how much of that is a decision made on the spot?
It's instinct and not being aware of where your teammates are in that moment to help stop that attack.
Abini is going to win a corner, so Sydney FC continue to move the chess pieces up the board, and now they get a set piece of their own. Mackenzie Hawkesby, always so dangerous from corner kicks. Let's see if that can lead to a meaningful chance on goal right here. First corner of the day for the Sky Blues, right underneath the cove. Gabby Garton in goal. 23.5 minutes into her comeback to the A-League Women's. High looping ball, the header from Rule, falls on the line and it's in. Did Abini get the last touch? Sydney FC take the lead. The congratulations coming for Abini. I think her touch might have been necessary to will Charlie Rule's header over the line. Either way, it's Sydney FC in front.
And it's a great delivery by Mackenzie Hawkesby. We know that Charlie Rule is always going to be a threat on those attacking set pieces. Bravo to Princess Ibini with the follow-up.
Yeah, it has to be Abini's goal. I don't think it would have made it over the line without that final touch. Shea Holman back to the goalkeeper. Franco calmly steering it out to Rule. Bobbling off the face, but able to bring it under control. And now Courtney Vine can take on Kayla Morrison here. The early pass is a good pass. Hawkesby, 2-0 Sydney. The goalkeeper was coming out, Hawkesby was coming in, and the ball ended up rolling agonisingly into the back of the net. Mackenzie Hawkesby doubles the Sky Blues lead.
And for me, Teo, I know it's a big call, but that's potentially team goal of the season. It started with the composure of the youngster of Talia Franco. She finds that second line with her distribution, and Sydney are able to work the ball up the pitch and find Hawkesby with a goal.
Yep, they're going to make a goalkeeping change. So it's not the comeback to the A-League Women's that Gabby Garton would have been hoping for. And Miranda Templeman, who did emerge with a 2-1 win away to Adelaide last Saturday, is going to be thrown in as a substitute for the second time this year. And you can see the emotions are quite full on for Gabby Garton here, because this isn't the comeback to professional goalkeeping that she would have been hoping for.
Something you definitely never want to see a player having to leave the field due to injury. A tremendous occasion for Templeman to step on the pitch once again and possibly show a little bit of competitiveness as to why she maybe should have started this game. And
we can see right there the absolutely huge bulb that has swelled up on the head of Gabby Garton. That looks very serious. So does at least have the confidence of a win to her name. Comes on for appearance number 4 in the A-League Women's and goes right in the deep end with Madison Haley on the attack here. Spinning at central. Hunter, they're lining up Sydney FC. It's a penalty. They get a chance to make it 3-0, and Sarah Hunter was able to win the foul and the spot kick.
I think definitely a foul, and just look at the strength of Madison Haley to roll Claudia Bunge there. In terms of Hunter, we know that she's going to be in and around the box, and now she's in a position where she's drawn a foul for her team. Interesting to see who takes this penalty.
So it was Tatham there, legging Hunter. Will it be 3-0 to Sydney FC? Abini's penalty, saved by Templeman, and the follow-up is in from Abini. So even after the hard work of the goalkeeper, Princess Abini gets her double, and it's Sydney FC in a 3-0 lead.
And that's a fantastic initial save by Miranda Templeman. You can see she just gets the right amount of push. She dives at a good level. Unfortunate not to get the second. I'd be calling on my defenders to be in that box a lot quicker to help protect me in those moments if I was the young goalkeeper during second phase.
Tobin. Back to Franco. Has to be careful, Franco. Caught in possession. Goal for Melbourne victory. And Rika Madsen is able to open her A-League Women's account. And the Dane gives victory hope. It's 3-1.
And very casual by the youngster there. I think she's obviously looking to play a shorter option where it's just a first-time clearance by Talia Franco in that moment. And
so Sydney FC, a reminder that it's not all going to go their way, and there is still just over a half to go. We said, how different will the halftime talk be If Victory peg one goal back, well, they have. And Rika Madsen with the game awareness there to sneak in. Maybe a kind deflection, but it has been able to find its way into the back of the net for 3-1. McLean on the half volley. Murphy, early ball. Madsen, looked like it might have been off the arm. Play continues. Beatty Goad breaking out into space on the left. Chidiac calls for it in the box. Goad twists in across, and it's 3-2. Leah Privitelli. She's done it before in the Big Blue against Sydney FC, and she does it here to give Victory real belief. The comeback is on.
And I absolutely love that we now have a game on our hands, Teo. The delivery by Goad, it's pinpoint. The far post run by Privitelli, she goes untracked, and it's a fantastic finish.
Leah Privitelli finds the back of the net. She has scored on Australia Day at AAMI Park against Sydney FC before. That came in a defeat. This time, she wants a different result. How about the shout from Chidiac to let Beatty Goad know that is a blind cross there from Goad, just going on the shout of the teammates in order to put it into the box.
It is fantastic communication by Chidiac, and watching on the replay, the timing of Privitelli's run in terms of her positioning inside that far post, very, very good.
So, first goal of the season for Leah Privitelli, 8th in the A-League Women's. Sydney FC had a 3-0 lead. They were looking like good things. Melbourne Victory had subbed off their keeper injured. All of a sudden, this game has turned on its head. It's not even half-time. We've only had 6 total shots on target. We've had 5 goals from them. Sydney FC, they want the buffer restored. Courtney Vine can't beat Templeman. And until that point, the only shot on target in this game that hadn't been a goal was Princess Abini's penalty, Leah. So they've been sharpshooters out there today.
Both sides definitely making the most of the chances they're creating.
This has been one of the games of the season so far, and it's not even half done. As I've mentioned before, a team has never come from 3 goals down to win in the A-League Women's. As we see a corner conceded late, and Sydney FC, how they would love a 4th goal to take into the rooms. We tick into the last of the 5 allocated minutes in this first half of the game. Hawkesby steps out the run-up in front of the Cove. The travelling Cove, who were enjoying this afternoon in the sun, maybe now not so much, and it comes Haley, and it's 4! Madison Haley gives Sydney FC a buffer to take into the rooms, and this goal fest shows no sign of letting up.
And again, excellent delivery by Mackenzie Hawkesby. She just hits it at an appropriate height that evades the Victory zonal positioned players. Hallie unmarked at that back post once again.
Well, the corners are proving absolutely lethal for Sydney FC. Hawkesby gets the assist. Haley gets the goal, has scored both home and away against Melbourne Victory now this season. And Leah, the marking and also the goalkeeping here, it did leave a bit to be desired.
It definitely did, and you can see the smarts and the experience of Haley, where she just steps slightly forward to lose her marker and then reverses out at the right time to receive the ball free.
That is 6 goals in 7 games now for Madison Haley. Has been a fantastic signing for Sydney FC. The only question is, will she be heading to the NWSL? She's yet to make her debut in that competition. She opted for the extra COVID year in college rather than turning pro, meaning that she's yet to actually play in the American Professional League. But based on her form here, you'd have to think that there would be plenty of teams interested in picking up her rights and her contract. Still, that's a discussion for another day. Right now, Haley wants to win the match for Sydney FC and get the 3 points right here this afternoon. Referee looks at the watch and says everyone needs a breather. What an extraordinary afternoon of football, and it's only half over. Half-time at AAMI Park, and the Big Blue is turning into a goal fest extravaganza because it is Melbourne Victory 2 trailing Sydney FC 4. So this game is just 1 goal away from being the highest scoring Big Blue ever played between the two sides, solo as opposed to just in a tie. Second half underway. Leah, let me just test your predictive skills as you look into the crystal ball. How many more goals do we get total in this second half, do you think?
I think we could see goals either side, Teo, and I think the messages in both change rooms at halftime would have been that both teams need to tighten up defensively, especially on set pieces with their marking, as well as actually not allowing goal-scoring chances in and around the box by defenders and midfielders.
Jeff Hawkins would have had his work cut out, of course, if you missed the first half. A knock to the head for Gabby Garton ended her return to the A-League Women's with a rather large bump that had formed above the right eye. So we're hoping it's just an egg and it's not going to be hugely serious ongoing, but certainly had to leave the game immediately. And Miranda Templeman was subbed on. That was the only sub. Claudia Bunge is on a yellow card. That could be a subplot to watch out for as the game goes on too. Of course, the New Zealand international defender won't want to get sent off and leave victory down to 10. And Sydney FC, they want to continue to press their case. They've got games in hand now to try and latch back onto the chase for the Premier's plate, having been beaten by Western United last time out. Ball's going to sit up at the edge of the box here, and McLean is first to the ball. Hawkesby to Abini, who got the scoring started, and now plays it to Hawkesby once again. Neat link up between the two. Abini, now the most advanced Sydney FC player, trying to show Nash a clean pair of heels, but Bunge comes over, and after a tangle of legs, Melbourne Victory come away with the ball. Nash onto the boot of Tobin, and it goes out for a throw. This was the injury to Gabby Garton from the first half. If you missed it, the knee on the follow through to the head there of the Argentine-capped goalkeeper, and Leah Blaney, it meant that she had to leave the game.
And definitely not what you want to see, but I don't believe there's any malice at all there. It's just a trailing leg by Hawkesby and a brave attempt to stop a goal from Garton.
Here's Rika Madsen, will be filled with confidence having now scored a goal in this league. Privatelli, the other victory goal scorer, cleared by McLean. And Abini uses the body quite intelligently there to lose the attention of Nash. Up to Haley, who's in her own battle here against Bunge. The through ball, Courtney Vine turns on the afterburners, round the keeper, and rolls it into an empty net. Courtney Vine makes it 5-2 to Sydney FC. And that was sheer speed on show.
It was. It's Courtney Vine with space in behind that she can just accelerate and go 1v1 on that occasion. You see the quality of Madison Haley. She's able to hold the ball up and really just on the half turn, really good, well-weighted pass into the space for Vine.
Long-term injury herself. 19 total fouls in the game. Princess Abini. Courtney Vine. Able to step around Tatham, cuts it back. Abini for the hat-trick! 6 for Sydney and a hat-trick for Princess Abini.
And that's a fantastic decision by Courtney Vine to cut that ball back to a well-positioned Princess Abini, who calmly just slots it in with composure.
Nat Tatham will not enjoy the replay of that. Courtney Vine able to step around, step over, and then the cutback to a totally unmarked Princess Abini. Leah, where was the victory defence? Now Haley. Out to Rule, the right back. Camped in the attacking half now. Courtney Vine. Vine with a burst of acceleration. The cutback's on, flashing through the penalty area. And the whistle goes for a penalty. Sounds like a handball. Miranda Templeman is absolutely furious at the referee and is going to talk her way into the book. Yellow card. And now Sydney FC will go to the spot. Will Princess Abini get a chance at her hat-trick? It looks as though Mackenzie Hawkesby has taken the ball. But here is how the penalty got given. Boozering around Amy Park as Madison Haley steps up to the penalty spot to make it 7. Saved by Templeman. Incredibly, Miranda Templeman has saved both penalties that she's faced down today.
And bravo, Miranda Templeman. I've touched on it all game. Young goalkeepers are going to make mistakes. Her ability to make these key saves and have passion and show desire to want her team to stay in this is fantastic.
From a standing start, Vine clips it in. Badawia off the woodwork, and then the whistle goes. It may not have counted. Suspect that the referee saw something untoward there. Roller Badawia was crashing in, but not able to will it over the line. It collected the post instead.
She wasn't, and once again, it's a great little delivery by Vine. Bunge a little bit unaware of Badawia's positioning there, which I think is a warning sign.
Hits the byline and is able to win a corner.
And this is one of the very few occasions that we've seen this Melbourne Victory side in this Sydney FC back third. They really have been pinned in for this second half.
So Beattie Goad heading over to the corner. Victory have not put a shot on target in the second half, just the one shot on its own. This is their third corner of the day. Players again shielding their eyes from the sun. No Alex Chidiac on the field anymore, so Goad has taken over corner taking duties. Into the near post it swings, headed off the line. Eliadis is going to spin back around, shouts for handball against Holman, and penalty given. And Shay Holman, the youngster, frustrated as Melbourne Victory will go to the spot with a penalty of their own, and what will be the third of this afternoon's action. Leah, talk us through the replay.
Look, as you can see, the goalkeeper stack is a common one, especially in this Women's A-League.
Markovski can take this game out of the record books for Victory's heaviest defeat to Sydney FC. FC scores, and she does score. So it's 6-3, and Maya Markovski scores for the third time in the A-League Women's. The Victory fans get something to cheer, and professionally, Victory run the ball back to the centre circle to get things back underway. But Leah, well-dispatched penalty, albeit at a very savable height. And then cleared by Tatham, wiped out late, foul given. Nat Tatham sore and slow to get up. Don't forget, Saturday 3 p.m, Canberra taking on Western United. Brisbane Roar against the Wellington Phoenix as Badawia gets a booking in the very last minute of the game. Saturday evening, Western Sydney Wanderers against the Newcastle Jets, and then Sunday, Melbourne City against Adelaide. So we see the yellow card challenge again. And the full-time whistle goes on a memorable afternoon for Sydney FC. 6-3, the final score against Melbourne Victory. Princess Abini with a hat-trick. Courtney Vine with a standout display at her Matilda's best. And the Sydney FC fans that made the trip got to enjoy one heck of an afternoon. Full-time at Amy Park, a game that few who witnessed it will forget. It finishes Melbourne Victory 3, Sydney FC 6.